When you look back at that spring game, I thought the defense really showed just a glimpse of maybe the dominant unit that they could be, and that's where I want to start. I want to start talking about the defensive side of the football. Now, I'm not going to talk about the defensive line. Defensive line was really, really good, okay? They looked like a unit that could certainly wreak some havoc this year in the Big Ten Conference. Boy, the secondary, how about those young defensive backs? They looked really good. They not a lot of big plays certainly allowed over the top from the offense in the spring game. No, not those two units. I want to focus about the unit in the middle, that group, the linebacker group, the inside linebacker group right now. You know, there was an interesting opportunity that was available to some of these younger linebackers to get more of a few more reps, certainly in the spring game, because of the absence of projected linebacker starter Devin Jackson within this spring game. And I think when a lot of people, even I've brought up, that says, believe me, I've said less is more when it comes to the portal. If they take a grand total of 0 guys, totally cool with it. But I thought if there was one position group where they could maybe look towards, it's maybe a veteran piece in that linebacker room. I think what we saw in the spring game, combined with some comments from early in the spring from inside linebackers coach Brian Michalowski, and the comments after the spring game from head coach Dan Lanning, I think there's a lot of confidence in this inside linebacker room going forward.
Well, I take a lot of pride in developing guys, right? And that's, I think that's evident through Jamal Hill, just 1 year at linebacker, now being an NFL linebacker. Jeff Bossa, was a safety, and, he grew tremendously. And then Bryce, right? So I feel like I'm really good at developing guys. If I'm having to go to the portal, what's that say about me as a coach?
We won't pursue anybody in the portal at linebacker. I feel really good about our linebacker group. Like the guys we have. Jerry's a guy that's worked extremely hard, done an unbelievable job, and continues to improve. And when he keeps that as focus, he's really going to be a guy that can help us. But there's a lot of guys in that room that I think can play winning football. And it comes with experience.
I absolutely love that confidence. I love that faith. And it seems like it's not just the linebacker room, but there's been other groups on this team. Defensive line is one, where they took just one transfer, where this coaching staff is putting faith, they are putting trust into the young guys to be able to develop into certainly better players. And when you talk about development, specifically at the linebacker position, I mean, B-Mike really laid it out there. It's like, yeah, we've got a track record for developing players at the linebacker position. Like Bryce Betcher is a perfect example, where last year, you were looking at Jeff Bossa and maybe some others to be above Bryce, possibly on the depth chart. But look what he did. He certainly soared into that top linebacker role, and he's going to be that green dot type of guy in the middle of the defense for the Ducks coming up next season. And they're just looking at these talented young players and saying, yeah, there's enough guys in this room where we can make this work, where there's not going to be a significant drop-off from the starters, projected to be, of course, Bryce Betcher and Devin Jackson, to some of these other guys. I want to talk about some of these other guys in the spring game. I thought Jerry Mixon was a little bit, when you talk about linebacker and the depth there, he's maybe a guy that people glance over a little bit, but I thought he made some really nice plays. Same with Braden Platt. Braden Platt is a younger guy. He's been getting a little bit more chatter, been getting a little bit more talk within Duck circles, and there were some certain plays where he read the gap very well, shot the gap, and came up with a tackle for loss in some cases as well. Dylan Williams was the guy that I thought did really well, both in the run and in pass coverage, certainly as well. I think there's a lot of different talents within this inside linebacker room. And now let's kind of talk about the depth compared to last season. Right, going into last season, of course, you had Jeff Bossa in there. Justin Jacobs had kind of been banged up, and it didn't really certainly play out for him last year. And, of course, you have Betcher and you have Jackson. Like, now you compare it to this year's depth. Yeah, I already mentioned, hey, the projected starters likely going to be Betcher, likely going to be Devin Jackson. But then you start to get down into this depth. You've got Jerry Mixon, as I mentioned in there. Kamar Matudi is the guy that I didn't mention in there. I think you can go 2 deep. You can maybe even go 3 deep, possibly, at this position. If what these coaches are saying, and if we're really reading the tea leaves and the confidence that they have within this linebacker room, I also have confidence. If they got confidence, I got confidence. Let's just put it that way. If they got faith, I got faith. If they got trust, I got trust. Like, that's the bit. Like, this time of year, if you have that type of trust, imagine what that trust is going to be eventually once we get to fall. I think that this could be a deeper linebacker. I feel pretty confident in that this will likely be a deeper linebacker group, certainly, than it was last season. For these young players, it's a lot of the conversations that we've had with other young players at other position groups. Reps and experience are going to be their best friend. Those first 4 or 5 games of the season, if they can get in there, maybe make a few mistakes, maybe make a few plays along with it, build some confidence, have some learning experience, that is going to be their best friend. So they're certainly playing their best at the end of the year. I'm loving what this linebacker, I love that confidence that Dan Lanning said, shutting down the question about the portal linebacker. Well, that certainly doesn't deter my growing confidence and my growing excitement about this defense, that's for sure.